Yesterday, we covered some beginner warpike builds. Today, we're covering the opposite of that, some in-game warpike builds. Most of them will be the same, but I'm trying to throw in some, bit of curveballs, give you guys some more fun stuff to mess with. Now, the first build we're covering is going to be using the Urska warpike, which I grinded for yesterday. We got Cold Hell. That's not a very Christian name, Dauntless. Sheesh. So, savagery, overpower, pretty good stuff. Now for the special modifier is going to be the same thing for every single build since that's what I like using. Concussive payload is really good and fun to use. If you want to use leap, your use cases would be for fun and shenanigans. If you want to use wellspring, your use case would be you want to buff your teammates. Basically how I'd view it. For modifier, executioner spearhead is the go-to if you're in escalation or if you're in hunting grounds. Otherwise, if you're in trials, you would use munitions amplifier. For bond, if it's a frost pike, you want to use Pangar's Tooth, even though it has plus 3 weighted strikes, which makes no sense, and I despise it. It's there, it is what it is. For a helmet, we got Dark Watch with Overpower. Chest piece is going to be Dark Maru with Discipline. And then we got Malkarion, not Koshai. Malkarion gloves with Wild Frenzy, Koshai feet with Cascade, and Drask Eye with Cascade. By the way, if you want to use these builds with Iceborne, all you gotta do is look up the beginner warpike build video, and then just use the gear in that video for the element of the pike, Frost for instance, and then change the Frost pike to legendary. Bob's your auntie, you got the build you want. Just saying. So yeah, you got these perk summary. It's pretty cool. We like it a lot. Moving forward, it's the same thing for the Hellion pike. The next build's gonna be a bit different because it is what it's how it goes. Hellion pike doesn't have any cool niches. There's nothing you can really build off of. No cells that boost like fire damage, anything like that. So it's not going to be. There's really nothing you can do to make it that interesting. So it's the same thing, really. But we got savagery and wild frenzy in the cell slots. Same old Inferno bond, or Inferno's arrow bond is what we're doing. It's the exact same thing, really. Dark watch, overpower. Dark Maru, Discipline, Malkarion's Grasp, Savagery, and Koshai Feet with Cascade, Draft Lantern with Cascade. Boom. By the way, Cascade's a solid replacement for Iceborne, in case anyone's wondering. It gives you survivability in the form of purple invulnerability shields and green orbs that heal you and give you shield as well. It is pretty crazy and enjoyable IMO, just saying. But yeah, moving forward. This build's going to be a bit different. Ooh, look at that spice. Look at the spice on the left. The gear looks so much different. There's no predator in sight. Where's it at, bro? I can't find it. It's not there. Want to know why? I'm trying to make this game fun. It's an honest day's work. So we've got the Parasitic Curse, aka Agarus Legendary, with Tenacious, which is a cell that works off of shields. The more shields you have, the more crit chance you got. I know it works off of like how high your health is too, but it's not really worth it because you get a lot of benefit. You know what? Actually, this build, I'm doing it. Whatever. I wasn't going to because, by the way, if you want to, this would be a pretty good build just using the Agarus Legendary on any of the other builds I just showed. But this build's like more tailored to it. Anyway, Tenacious works off of current health HP. The higher it is, the more damage you get. And how much shield you have determines your crit chance. You can get 100% crit chance. It's crazy. You got Savagery. You got Concussive Payload, Executioner Spearhead, and Skarn Spite, which helps you build shields, making Tenacious actually good or decent. We got Cool Shot Headpiece with Guardian Cell, so you can give your teammates shields and keep them from going down every 2 seconds. Agric Boil, which is the Agarus Legendary Chest Piece with Conduit. It has Parasitic. Parasitic is just, it doesn't matter what it's at, you'll always get 5% lifesteal, so even if you have +1 Parasitic, it's good. That's why I would not really ever upgrade the Agarus chest piece or any gear that has Parasitic for the cell, because you still get 5% lifesteal. That's what matters, especially if you have like a full life build. You don't really need to have the decreased damage taken. You just need to have the lifesteal. Anyway, Torgadoro gloves with Tenacious again, and then we got the Boreas Feet with Guardian. Now, in case anyone's wondering, it doesn't really matter what your elemental resistance is for your armor. It's not that big a deal. Like, yeah, you'll take less damage, and it's not that, it doesn't really matter too much. It normally will not break the bank, and it only matters really, if you're doing trials and trying to get really low without dying, to get more benefit from, let's say, Blitz Tonic. That's the only time I've ever really cared for making this match. Other than that, it's all about making sure that you have good stats that you want and good cell slots for the cells you want to have to make your stats even better. Anyway, we got Conduit in the Lantern because I want attack speed. I'm not using Cascade since this build doesn't have any attack speed other than Conduit, and this game is not good when you don't got attack speed. Just saying. Then we have the Conductor. This is the legendary Malkarion warpike. We got Discipline, Savagery in the cell slots. Concussive Payload, Munitions Amplifier. I think I was using this in trials, perhaps. Whatever. Using the Drask Bond. And we got... What's this build? Okay, making sure I didn't mess anything up. We got the Dark Watch helmet with Overpower. Cool Shot chest piece with Wild Frenzy. Nasher gloves with Rage Hunter. And then the Charog feet with Overpower. And we got Cascade and Drask Eye Lantern as Veil. So we only get +3 Cascade because one of the cells in the actual weapon is not ideal. It's not terrible, but just not ideal. And this build doesn't have Predator. So here's another option for y'all if you don't want Predator. By the way, Savagery is really good in case anyone's wondering. I know that you can only wound parts, once, but you could always only wound parts once. And now it doesn't matter if you break the part, you can still wound it if you haven't wounded it before, making Savagery even better than it was before. Because let's say you wound a part, then you break it, it goes into Overpower, you can keep hitting that same part. It's kind of crazy and very strong. Now to finish it off, the next two builds are going to be pretty much the same, and that's because, again, they don't really have any crazy niches that make them wild in their own right. So, the Apocalypse Needle, which is the Thrax Legendary. We've got Savagery Discipline, Concussive Payload, Execution Spearhead, and the Riftstalker Bond. The gear is going to be pretty much the same. What variety? Wow, Doe, thanks. You're welcome, y'all. I got you. Anytime. Anytime you want like the same old, whew, I got you right and quick. Don't you worry. Then we got Spire of Dawn. This build could also be used with Godhand if you could unlock it. Smile. Some of y'all can't. That's unlucky. Savagery, Overpower. Wait. Oh. There's no legendary Radiant Warpike yet. That threw me off, really. I was like, where's my Bond at? This game is trolling. That's interesting. Shroud Headpiece. Same old. Shame old. Going through it quite quickly. Boom. Hit him with a boom. Hit him with a bop. And then that's what we got. It says +1 Cunning. It is... it's probably not Power Surge, but whatever. Ignore the +1 Cunning. It should be +3. Cunning isn't that crazy to really get super high. If you're using Savage Wellspring, it might be okay, but you'd have to rely on having Savage Wellspring to make that cell do, a decent job. So instead, you're better off getting Predator if you don't get hit. If you get hit a lot, change Predator for Cunning, and maybe get an extra Savagery cell. Other than that, y'all, that's the video. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure to use credit code OhDough in the Epic Games Store or the in-game Dauntless Store #ad. I got a stream at twitch.tv/OhDough, and check out my TikTok for some Apex clips and possibly some other gameplay in the future of the clip variety. If you want more ways to support the channel, they're in the description. Other than that, y'all have a beautiful day. I'll catch you later. Peace.